الحمد لله رب العالمين صلى الله وسلم على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم. Inshallah, we continue from where we left off. We're still studying the book of inheritance. So the Shaykh Salih al-Fawzan, he said, inheritance of the drowned and those killed and the collapsed building. The issue of mass death, in which many people die and some of them are legal heirs of others. It is a problematic issue that causes great confusion. This is because it is difficult to realize who has died first to be considered an inheritor and who has died later to be considered as an heir. Nowadays, mass death frequently happen as a result of a road accident, such as car and train accident and plane crashes. Mass death can be also a result of a building collapse, accidental fire, drowning, bombardment, as what's happening in Gaza, etc. With this in mind, the issue involved in the inheritance of those deceased people who legally inherit from one another are summarized in 5 cases. When all the deceased persons are known to have died at the same time. In this case, scholars unanimously maintain that there is no inheritance. Because how are you going to inherit? All of them died. As inheritance is based upon verifying that the heir is alive after the death of the inherited person, which is not available in such a case. So there is nobody there. Number 2, when some of them are still known to have died because some others, before some others. In such a case, scholars unanimously view that those who have died later are entitled to inherit from those who have died earlier, since it is verified that the heir has temporarily survived the inherited person. When some of them are known to have died before some others without determining who have died first. When some of them are known to have died before some others, yet that is forgotten. When the sequence of their death is unverified and it's not recognized if they all have died at the same time or different timing. In these last 3 cases, there is great room for probability, ijtihad, legal reasoning, and discretion, and speculation among the scholars, may Allah have mercy on them, who entertain 2 different opinions. So we're going to look at what is clear is clear. All the scholars, they agree upon. Something that is not clear, there is room for ijtihad. Scholars, they differ. So we have 2 opinions among this, the opinion of the scholars. The first opinion entails that there is no inheritance between those deceased people in all of the 3 cases. This view is supported by the opinion of a group of the Prophet's companion, including Abu Bakr Siddiq, Zayd ibn Thabit, and Abdullah ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with them. The 3 Imams, Abu Hanifa, Malik, and the Shafi'i, may Allah have mercy on them, said the same, that it is one of the opinion adopted by the school of Imam Ahmad. This is based on the fact that one of the conditions to inherit is the certainty that the heir is alive after the death of the inherited person, which is not only unfulfilled here, but also doubted. And the rule of thumb is that there is no inheritance with doubt. Moreover, those who died in the battles of Al-Yamama, Siffin, and Al-Harra did not inherit from one another. So they use this as an evidence. The second opinion entails that each of them inherit from the other following the opinion of a group of the companions, may Allah be pleased with them, including Umar ibn al-Khattab and Ali ibn Abi Talib, may Allah be pleased with them, which is the opinion acted upon in the Hanbali school. The underlying assumption behind this view is what each of them has certainly been alive and must have been lasted until after the death of the other, to illustrate when Umar ibn al-Khattab was informed of the plague that afflicted Sham, Bilad al-Sham, and that the whole families died as a result. He ordered that the estates of the dead person would be estimated according to the shares they were to receive from one another, and then the living heirs would inherit from the dead persons. It is stipulated that the living heirs of the dead persons do not differ with regard to the precedence of one to another in the order of death, because they know when every heir claims that his inherited person has died later with no evidence, then they have to take oath, and no inheritance is to take place. According to this opinion, every heir among the dead person inherits from the original estate of the other dead heir, excluding the new state. To elaborate, if an heir is assumed to have died earlier than another, the share the latter gets from the former is to be distributed among the latter's live heirs only, i.e., we exclude the former from whom the latter has inherited, and we reverse the assumption and apply the same way of distribution. The first view indicating that they do not inherit from one another, as no inheritance is to be made without, is the preponderant one. So basically what he's saying this opinion is most likely to be correct. Preponderant means most likely to be correct. And this is used a lot in fiqh. Like when the scholars, when they look at different opinions and then they give their judgment, they say, and the most preponderant opinion is this. According to the evidence, after we investigated and everything, we come to the conclusion that this evidence is, this opinion is more likely to be correct. So he's saying that the first opinion is more likely to be correct because they said we have to verify, because we cannot base this affair upon doubt. And then we have a qaida, al-yaqeen la yuzalu bil-shak. Certainty cannot be removed with doubt. So if there is a doubt, certainty cannot remove the doubt cannot remove that which is certain. Likewise here, if the matter is doubtful, then we don't act upon that which is doubtful. This is because the actual status of the deceased ones, the heirs, is unknown. And what is unknown is deemed non-existent, right or wrong. Moreover, the precedence of the death of one another is unknown. So it is insignificant in this case. Besides, it is not reasonable to have deceased heirs inherit from one another, as inheritance is made to let the heir make use of the inherited property, which is not the case here. Also, making the deceased persons inherit one another is a contradictory view. This is because giving a deceased heir from the estate of another indicates that the former has survived the latter, and then giving the latter from the estate of the former indicates the opposite. This implies that each of them has died before the other, which is not logical. With this in mind, the preponderant view is that only live heirs inherit the estate of the deceased ones, in order to adhere to what is certain, and keep away from doubtful matters. And Allah knows best. So it seems like the Shaykh inclines towards the first opinion, that if we don't know and there is doubt, then only those who are alive will inherit. Only those who are alive will inherit. And that's the end of this chapter. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us all beneficial knowledge and righteous action. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.